Explosion of free-to-play games following Fortnite's insane blow-up is crazy, and I think we're currently living in the wake of it. During that time, a lot of paid games launched in terrible and broken states. As a matter of fact, it's still kind of happening, but I think this opened up the doorway for free-to-play games in a way that kind of surprised us. Free-to-play doesn't have to compete with 60, 70, $80 games. AAA releases also many times free to play games are kind of long term endeavors, right? During COVID, especially when everyone's home, time was rather abundant. I think about Fall Guys, Apex, and again Fortnite. These games made money off of spending done in game, but access to the game is free. It's a simple monetization model, right? Right? See, I think anyone following games in the last 10 years would go, whoa, buddy, slow down. Simple monetization model? No way, it's much more than that. And I agree. It's not just how game makers make money, it's also how we, the consumers, the players, spend money. And frankly, that's important. When I boot up a free to play game, I'm typically booting it up for the experience it freely offers, where there's no limit to the time nor the money I spend. And even within that game, there can be multiple avenues of spending money, right? From skins to loot boxes to packs and bundles. A free to play store's menu might actually be bigger than their options menu. That's all good and fun, right? I mean, we pay for skins or whatever catches our eye, and it supports the developers. And hopefully, future development, right? Cool. Yeah, cool. This video isn't here to condemn your spending habits, but I've got to point something out. We seem to have forgotten that at least one point, free to play was a signal, and it said cheap and poor quality, not worth your time. It's free, after all. We used to assign higher value to our time too, I think, but that's a different video conversation. For me, at least, it was the cheap mark of a crappy game. And I can't think I'm the only one. Okay, before we get farther into it, real quick, there's nothing wrong with playing or enjoying free-to-play, multiplayer games or any sort of free-to-play game. I do myself. I mean, for the last several weeks, I've been playing Marvel Rivals with friends, and it's been a blast. Mostly. The thing I really want to highlight here is that free-to-play games used to be different, or at least our perception was different. Nowadays, when I think free-to-play, I don't think garbage. Instead, I actually think accessible. If a friend says to me, hey, try out this game, I'm kind of on the fence about it. If it's free, that's a hurdle I don't have to cross. I have to get over that hurdle to try the game because it's free. I just boot it up. I just give it a download as long as I got space. And, maybe you don't have space, but that's a different discussion as well. Having a low bar of entry can be really, really good and bring the game to a higher player base than otherwise would have. It gives you an opportunity to experience different things and different types of games, and maybe you went to try, X game if it wasn't free. But remember what I said about the monetization model before? Free-to-play games are long-term games selling anything but interest to the game. And of course, the more time in the game, the more likely someone is to spend money. The more time that they've invested, the more time, that they boot up the game, they see the store menu and they think, ooh, maybe this is the day that I drop some money. And certain people drop more money, right? There's that discussion about whales and everything, but that's not the point right here. The point is that when you pay for a game, I think it's trying to maximize your experience. And when you don't pay for a game, it's trying to maximize your time and or your wallet. Those are different goals, and the difference is important. Free to play is great, especially if you're looking for something to just kind of fill the time. It could be incredible use of time and fill, all the things that you want out of your game time. Leisure, distraction, joy, thrill, satisfaction. But most certainly, it'll take more of your time than you think. That's its goal. Don't forget it. Free to play isn't a bad thing, not at all. Maybe it was at one point, but probably not anymore. But I do think we should raise our skeptical eye and question where we spend both our time and our money. And, well, that question isn't one that I take lightly, and frankly, neither should you. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I gave you something to think about, and have a good one.